Guys, I'm back for another video this week. We've got a nice little topic to talk about. Ellen Hatch, I'm a fitness and nutrition online accountability coach. It's quite the title, but basically what that means is I hold clients accountable to the protocols that I put into place that I know for a fact they work and they get people results. You're looking to gain more mobility, gain more muscle, lose the body fat that you don't want, and you don't want to use those excuses anymore, I got you. How I do things is not really like a personal trainer, and it's not really like other online coaches. The mission is to empower the client and to not have them solely rely on me, whereas I have worked for other bosses in the personal training world where they have very clearly stated that they want to make sure that us personal trainers don't give away too much information, who just essentially gatekeep information so that the client has to keep coming back and relying on the coach for the accountability and the resources and the information. As you know, as a business person, you love the idea of LTV, so lifetime client value, which just basically means how long a client stays with you. As much as I love that and creates reassurance and whatnot, I also very much believe in the empowerment and instilling knowledge and information. And my last name's Hatch, and so I make kind of a little bit of a joke with my clients, like, you come in because you want to renew and you want to become a better version of yourself, and at some point we hatch you out of your cocoon, out of your egg, out of your transformation cycle, and we give you those wings so that you are able to fly on your own and not solely rely on me forever. And that is how I feel like we're pretty different. That the other way that we are different is that I only see/hear my clients about 30 to 40 minutes a week. And that is because I have one-on-one calls with them through Zoom, a phone call. We just check in with how things are going this last week. How is your stress? How's your, other biofeedback markers? And whether they are working on both nutrition and training, then I'll check in with both things. Do we need to change or tweak anything? If they're trying to be in a deficit, do we need to bring the calories down a little bit, or is everything okay? And same thing with the training. Super empowering because now they get to go, and if they're in the training portion of the program, then they get to execute on those 3 to 4 days of training. Actually, I should say 2 to 4 days of training. Then they get to come back and tell me, I was able to do this many and this is how it went, and I actually pushed some weight this week, which is really awesome. Their wins, they get to tell me what's motivating them right now. They get to tell me all sorts of different things about it. And same thing with the nutrition side. I said how many people have loved the program just simply because of the accountability check-ins. It's more important than being told that whether you feel like you failed or feel like you really succeeded, it's all very objective data. And as we are gathering objective data over time, that is really what you're able to reflect on and be able to improve week to week. Getting into the topic of this week's video. This one's for you. Why your workday sabotages your fat loss results. This in particular because the 9-to-5ers that I work with right now have come from like the background or the excuse of like, oh, I just don't have time to eat healthy, I just forget to meal prep, or I'm just too tired, by the end of the day to go get in a workout. All these, different things that, at the time seem very legitimate, right? I can't blame you. Like, at the time, these reasons and excuses and whatnot, they seem really legitimate at the time. And it's funny how when you work with someone, it flips the script to where you actually wonder, like, oh, I actually had the time the whole time. I just wasn't utilizing my own time very well. Sneaky one where we get into our own ways and we get into our own head about what we are capable of achieving. And that is where working with someone who is, objective about what's going on, and like, sometimes people just need someone to talk to about what's going on in their heads and like how do they feel about their habits. It's like sometimes it's not even something that they talk about with their partner because it's so personal to them, and it just doesn't seem like it's that important to talk about. But when you actually find someone, aka me, who is willing to talk about these things, that you go, on and on about in your own head on a daily, daily whatever, then you start to realize how important these daily thoughts and these daily actions and daily everything starts to add up to what your actual habits are, and if you're able to hold yourself accountable to them. In this video, I want to work on 3 different scenarios, the 3 different barriers that most people have, and how to combat them and pull through and actually do it. As a busy 9-to-5er, the first thing that I work with clients with, at least when this comes up, is that they find that they don't have time for having proper meals throughout the day. Doing is just finding some crackers and cheese in the pantry, or something else that does not have substantial amounts of protein, fats, and carbs to satiate them for longer amounts of time. It sucks because then you're finding yourself hungry all throughout the workday. However, you can't seem to do anything about it except for maybe get a snack here or there, which I'll go into step number 2. And then you're basically underfueled all day, and you probably have some caffeine jitters from the cup of coffee that you had this morning, and so you're basically running on fumes almost all day, and it's just not great for your nervous system, not great for your energy. You hit that crash eventually, and it's just actually very counterintuitive to what you ought to be doing. To step number 2, I kind of already hinted at it. It's that when you even do have time, you go for the things that don't fuel you properly. And like I just said before, this is pretty unfortunate, because if you're a high-level person, if you're trying to get to being a high-level person in your career, in your job, in your business, whatever the case may be, fueling yourself properly so that you are at least having 3 meals a day of, a certain macro ratio, certain calorie intake, then you are able to work even better than you already are. I want you to know how hungry people are most of the time, and then their body adjusts to that hunger, and then they don't actually eat that much, and their stomach gets used to not eating that much, so therefore they're even not able to get in that much of the protein that their body needs, and then eventually you go into sarcopenic obesity, which aka you have more fat than you have muscle in your body, and it's really hard to get out of that cycle. Fivers that are more sedentary, so you work a very sedentary 9-to-5, you either work from home or you work at an office and you're just sitting on your butt all day. You come on home to wherever you're working from, or you're already at home and maybe you have like a home gym, a garage gym, whatever the case is, or you go to the gym anyways to leave the house. What I find is that clients that I work with don't have the awareness yet as to separating the mind from the body and tapping into what the body needs. So picture this, you are just at work all day. Let's say you sat for 7 hours even though you work 8, but then you commuted to work, or maybe you work from home, and so you just don't really have to move that much. So obviously taking into account that you need to move more and eat to fuel your body more so that you are making muscle and all that good stuff. Whole day working away, and then you finally clock out at 5 and you're exhausted. We can reassure you, we can validate the fact that yes, you are probably tired right now. However, if you step out of your brain now, turn off the brain, now tap back into your body and how your body feels, he or she is, your body is probably screaming for some attention. Stretch, move, get some mobility, get some blood flow. We are in such a time where we are using our brains so fantastically, which is so great. We are such modern human beings. However, we have forgotten the fact that our bodies still have primal needs. Need to exercise, like yourself exhausted after work and you're just like, oh, I just don't know, I'm like so tired. Ask yourself this: have you moved your body at all today? Maybe you went for a walk, maybe you didn't go for that walk. More important than just getting in a simple walk is stimulating your muscles. Maybe it's been a while since that has happened. Maybe you like to go do a cardio class, a Pilates class, whatever the case is, but stimulating your muscle with a strength training workout at least 2 to 3 times a week is chef's kiss. That big old word I used earlier, sarcopenic obesity, this is what you need to do. This plus fueling yourself properly. Just say, you can copy what I do. Let's just say by the end of the day of, working your 9-to-5, you are exhausted and you just prefer not to move in the afternoon. Maybe you've got kids and they need to be picked up, or you need to make dinner. You know, there's just things that you cannot move around. You know, I appreciate, you know, I'm trying to get my words out. I applaud you for being so flexible and making sure it all happens and it all works. You know, that's not really the thing that needs to change. How about just reflect on maybe like it needs to happen in the morning, first thing in the morning before you even go to work so that it's just done. That is what me and my partner do. We wake up at 4:30 in the morning, take that hour to wake up, get ourselves ready, get ourselves together, go to the gym by 5:30, get there by 5:45, start working out at 6 or sooner, 6:50, whatever, sorry, 5:50 to 6:50, and then we head back home, and then we go about the rest of our day. Both I've done after work and I've done before work, but I am liking right now before work because you get the morning people at the gym, and yes, you get it done, you're fresh in the brain, maybe you listen to an audiobook, maybe I don't know, you work, you maybe like in between sets, you're like, you know, responding back to emails and texts and whatnot. Time to work on yourself so that the rest of your day you feel lifted. It's so hard by the end of the day to separate your mind and body from, you know, your brain is exhausted. It's probably burned all of the calories that your TDEE does versus you know, if you just trained first thing in the morning when you're fresh and awake and you got that done, then you could just not think about it for the rest of the day. And then by the time you get to your 5 p.m. clock out time, then you can just chill, be with your family, do what you gotta do, whatever the case is. Things I wanted to cover in this video. I hope it was super helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.